Happy Friday, guys. Happy Friday. Very excited to be here. Today we're chatting about U.S. citizenship, how to become a U.S. citizen. So we're going to be taking a look at what are some of the things you should know simply about U.S. citizenship. Yesterday, we started discussing the frequently asked questions with regards to U.S. citizenship. What are the commonly asked questions? What are the questions that people normally ask us, attorneys, or ask me about U.S. citizenship, about filing for U.S. citizenship? So welcome everyone to the video. Please join us and let's have some fun. Okay, so first of all, one of the questions people ask is, okay, so I have a green card and now I can travel. I want to go to my home country. Can I live in both places until I'm ready to apply for citizenship? And the answer is be careful, be careful, be careful. So when you have a green card, it means that you are a lawful permanent resident, meaning you are permanently residing here in the United States. So you cannot have a green card and be gallivanting around the world if you intend to apply for citizenship specifically. Or, well, even if you don't intend to apply for citizenship, the green card implies that you are a permanent resident here. And so it's not allowed for you to be a green card holder and be out of the US for over a certain period of time, okay? But we're going to be particularly looking at for purposes of US citizenship. Okay, so you have to demonstrate that you have continuously lived or resided in the United States for at least 5 years before you submit your N400 or your citizenship application. It means you should be here in the US and not in any other country, right here, paying your taxes, going about your normal duties, working, living, just doing everything here in the US, okay? So we're going to look at the two interrelated concepts in residency. The first one I've discussed in previous videos is the continuous presence requirement. So you shouldn't go out of the country for more than 6 months at a time. Keep your trips to less than 6 months if you are a green card holder who intends to, of course, apply for citizenship. The second is the physical presence requirement, okay? The physical presence requirement mandates that you should be here for more than half of your statutory period. So you should be here for more than 2.5 years out of the last 5 years, because remember, you're going to be filing on the basis of the fact that you have been a green card holder for 5 years, and so you should have lived or resided permanently in the United States for at least half. That's 2.5 years out of the 5 years. If you are married to a U.S. citizen and you're filing after 3 years of being a green card holder, then it's half of that, which is 1.5 years. Okay, so that's what you should know. You have to satisfy both requirements. So you have to satisfy the continuous presence requirements rule as well as the physical presence requirements rules. Guys, drop me your comments, your immigration law questions, your concerns, where you guys are watching from, what you are sipping on, what's going on. We're hanging out. It's a legal hangout, but we're doing everything together. We can walk and chew gum, we can multitask. So that's it. The next question we're going to be looking at is, will USCIS approve my application, my citizenship application, once I pass the reading, writing, and the civics portion of the naturalization test? So, as you guys know, there's going to be two sets of testing for you if you are a citizenship applicant. First is that you have to pass the reading, the writing, and the civics portion of the test. And then secondly, you also have to meet the naturalization requirements. And so you are going to be tested on your eligibility for, so things like your biographic information, like what's going on with your, have you been arrested before? Where do you live? Have you worked without employment? Just all your other personal information. You have to pass that test also. And of course, you have to pass the physical presence test and the continuous test and the continuous presence test, as well as, making sure that you are not a habitual drunkard and all the other portions of the citizenship application. So we have Ma Ajwa Papevi. Edu before. I love your name. So funny. Maja Papebi. Maja Papebi. She's watching from Seattle, Washington State. Okay, welcome. Welcome, Maja Papebi. So happy to have you on here. I hope you are doing great out there. Okay, so as we were saying, when you go for your citizenship interview, the officer is going to be reviewing your application with a fine-tooth comb. They're going to be going through everything, and then the responses. Remember, to qualify for some of these things, you need to make sure that your testimonial evidence is on point. That's what you're going to say. Your documentary evidence is on point. That's the document you're going to be submitting. And then, for citizenship, there really isn't much of body language or, psychological evaluation of how you guys are behaving, but that is actually present in like adjustment of status interviews, like where you're, where there's there's a marriage and then you guys are adjusting. So in those instances, you have to mind, the way you're presenting yourself, interacting and all that. But with citizenship, it's more of testimonial, documentary evidence. Yeah. Okay, so of course, there's also a behavioral aspect, because if you are being asked like, okay, have you committed a crime before, and you start fidgeting and looking down, it tells them that you are lying, and so, they are going to investigate your case more. So be mindful of the behavioral aspect of your body language as well. Your body language, how you're going to be presenting yourself during the interview. Okay, so yes, sometimes the officer will ask you to clarify certain responses, and if there are updates that you want to make during the interview, you are totally entitled to make those updates. Like, okay, maybe you filed the application and the apartment number you live at is 10, maybe 102, and you put down 101. Then you would want to correct that so that you make sure that all future correspondences will be directed to you. If you've worked at a place for 2 years instead of 3, you want to amend those little bits of information. Just make sure they have the correct information. And then, so of course you can also ask the USCIS officer to rephrase. If you don't understand something, the best rule is to say, I don't know. Can you explain, or can you come again? If you don't know something, just say, I don't know. Don't fabricate an answer. That's always what the worst thing you can do, because you increase your chances of a denial. Like, you really, really increase your chances of a denial. What they hate is lying. So that's what you have to know also. Okay, guys, drop me your comments and your questions. Oh, we have Kevin Wasike, who's watching from South Carolina. I didn't try to pronounce the last name. Kevin, where are you from? That's an interesting name. I know you are a brother, but where are you from specifically? Okay, so let's continue. Yes, people butcher my name all the time, like my Ohenetwene. We're having a discussion with my mom today about somebody's name, and I was telling my mom that, okay, so this person is going to have a lot of difficulty with the way her name is pronounced. People are going to mispronounce her name all the time. It's a judge that was a Ghanaian judge that was appointed in California. So the news made the rounds today, and she has a purely Ghanaian name. And I'm like, oh my goodness, people are going to butcher her name. It's Frimpong and Mami, something, whatever. And then my mom is like, they should learn how to pronounce it, and I'm like, yeah, but it's a daily ceremony. They always, I encounter all the time, like very often, that people, struggle to pronounce my name. And every time I speak to somebody, it comes up. It gets really tiring and boring. But I don't blame them, because even my fellow Ghanaians, like my Ghanaians, pretend my name is so complex to pronounce. I mean, it's different, but I don't think it's complex. I think it's a very simple name, especially if you are Ghanaian. You should know how to pronounce Ohenetwene. That's very, very simple. Okay, so now, Wasike, Kevin says he's from Kenya. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining. So that was an expose on, the name struggle that we have in common. So we have Eric Nati also watching from Qatar. Awesome. Eric, you are welcome also. So guys, let's continue. So okay, so let's talk about this. Certain applicants of U.S. citizenship, they are exempt from the English requirements for naturalization, and then some of them may also take the civics test in their language, okay, in the language of their choice. So we have the exceptions and accommodations that the government provides for such people. Sometimes you may be asked to bring an interpreter, who will assist you or whatever. So that's a whole nother ball game we'll talk about later. Okay. And then, yes, let's talk about this. Very crucial, very, very crucial. So do I need to bring original documents such as birth and marriage certificates to my citizenship interview? Absolutely, yes. You have to. Absolutely, yes. Yes, you should bring the originals of your documents to the interview. Okay, so normally you'll see on the U.S.A. the N400 form, the form instructions will provide extensive examples of the types of original documents that you should bring for your interview, depending on your situation. So you can have your birth certificate, your original marriage certificate, original divorce certificates, final court decrees, arrest reports, probative parole records, evidence of child support payments. Yep. And guys, remember that if you do not pay your child support, you are actually not entitled to become a citizen. That is a conditional bar to citizenship. So they don't like that. You have to make sure you are, paying your taxes and of course, your child support and every other thing. Of course, remember the taxes when you're filing for on the basis of being a green card holder for 5 years, you don't need to submit your taxes as part of the application. But when you're filing on the basis of being married to a U.S. citizen for 3 years, you would sometimes you would need to present a copy of your joint tax filing. So those are some of the dynamics and the differences. Okay, so bring your originals. Remember, when you're filing U.S. immigration applications, do not submit originals, because if you submit originals, you're not going to get them back unless you have been specifically asked to bring the original. Otherwise, just send copies, because you're not going to get them back. Like, they have millions of copies and documents that they're dealing with, so they don't want to be bothered with trying to figure out who they're sending this birth certificate back to. That's just going to cause mayhem right there in the rooms of the USCIS, U.S. immigration offices. So don't give them that headache. Okay, guys, so I think we've covered quite a bit today, so maybe we should end it here. Let's see, we have Obang Balo, who's watching from Indiana. Hello, Obang, thank you so much. You've been supporting the page, loving all our posts, and we really see you. We appreciate you so much. Where are you from, Obang? I'm interested. I know you're also, that name actually does sound African, but I'm not able to place where you're from. All right, guys. So do you guys have any, U.S. related law, U.S. immigration related law questions? And yeah, let me answer this final question. This very, very, very commonly asked question. How many times can I apply for naturalization, or how many times can a person apply for citizenship? No limit. You can apply for as many times as you want, and there's no limit to the number of times you can apply for U.S. citizenship. But you have to pay the filing fee each time you apply for citizenship. Of course, USCIS, they want their money, and citizenship filing is $725. With of course that includes the $85 biometric fee. So you can apply for as many times as you want, and they are there to, take your money and of course review it. If you don't qualify, they will deny you, and you can apply and they'll take your money again. So yes, it's in your interest to make sure that you actually qualify and there are no red flags or there are no issues to be rectified, and then you can apply and you know that, okay, you are putting your application fee to good use. I know immigrants work really hard for their money, so that's not something you want to joke with. Oh, Obang Balu says, I'm from Western Ethiopia. Okay, called Gambela, Ethiopia. Interesting, very nice, awesome. Okay, so welcome. Thank you so much for all your support. All right, friends, so that's the end of today's legal hangout. I hope you guys had fun, as much fun as I did. The party is not only for me, it's for all of us. We're having, a party as usual. Always, we're having legal parties, legal little tea parties, legal parties. We just discuss the law, we hang out, we chat a little bit, and we find out what's happening. All right. So, guys, I wish you all a wonderful rest of your weekend. Be safe, be good, spread some love, and take care. I'll see you guys when I see you. Bye.